Hello everybody and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering Arena video. Today I am playing a Gruul deck. The reason it is a question mark is that I've always played Gruul because it's relatively easy. You know, you can just, I could do it whilst I'm doing something else almost. You just drop all your cards, and if you don't win in the first like 6 turns, you're probably not going to win. However, there is no, I don't know of a viable Gruul deck that plays in that way in the current standard. So we're playing a slightly longer game grindy version of Gruul, which is focused around a few new Capenna rares, which is obviously my goal is to tick some off. The main sort of engine of the deck is Vivien on the Hunt. So Vivien is a 6 costing planeswalker with foil loyalty that has plus 2. You may sacrifice a creature if you do search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's mana value and put it onto the battlefield. So in other words, you can upgrade any of your creatures by 1 mana value, plus 1 mill 5, and then put any number of creature cards milled this way into your hands. Obviously we want a lot of creatures so that we can mill and get at least 2. -1 create a 4/4 green Rhino Warrior. Less useful. I mean, it can be nice. There are occasions when just putting a 4/4 body on the board is helpful, but more often we're using one of the first 2 functions of Vivien. We're also running 4 Workshop Warchief. This is a 5 costing Rhino Warrior, 5/3 with trample. When it enters the battlefield, gain 3 life, and when it dies, get a 4/4 Rhino. This obviously pairs extremely well with Fable of the Mirror Breaker, the reflection side, because I can copy it, it will come in, give me 3 life, and then die, give a 4/4 Rhino Warrior. We're running 4 of Professional Facebreaker. So this is a card I've sort of been waiting to put into a deck, and this is the deck for it. So this is a 3 costing 2/3 menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure. Sacrifice a treasure, exile the top card of your library, you may play it this turn. The reason this is good in this deck is we have some treasure synergy already with Gala Greeters, which is another Streets of New Capenna card I'll come to in a second, Prosperous Innkeeper, and Fable. So we tend to have quite a bit of treasure floating around in this deck. So we've got a lot of opportunity to use that, sacrifice your treasure and exile the top card and play it. That is kind of the I guess end game of this deck. If we've ramped using all the treasure we want and we're still creating it, well, now we've got something to do with it, and that is to basically draw cards, draw more creatures, and try and win the game that way. I'm running the Gala Greeters, which I've played before, but I'll just go through it once more. It's a 2 costing 1/1. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under our control, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Put a 1/1 on Gala Greeters. Create a tapped treasure token, so you can't use it the turn that you create it, or you gain 2 life. So obviously we've got quite a few creatures entering the battlefield in this very creature heavy deck. Warchief is sort of 2 creatures if you blitz it or copy it with Fable. Fable itself, you know, coming back in on the 3rd bit often triggers Gala Greeters. We've got 1 copy of Tovalar's Huntmaster, which is 3 creatures on its own, so you get all 3 options of Gala Greeters. So basically, yeah, there's lots of sort of various creaturey synergies with this. Our top end, we're running only 2 Titan of Industry. It's a 7/7 reach trample. I've been through this card before. It's kind of the top end in any green deck at the moment. And then we're basically running a whole bunch of what I would call utility creatures that we can search up with Vivien depending on what we need. So I'm running 1 Topiary Stomper to pull a land. Sometimes it's helpful. I would like to run a 2nd copy of this. I think I'd probably run 3 of these and 2 of these in the perfect version of the deck, but since I'm trying to run 4 of each rare at the moment, we're running this. I'm running 1 Atsushi the Blazing Sky. It can be nice to get a flyer sometimes, and a 4/4 flying trample can close out games. But it also has a dies trigger to basically allow me more cards or more treasure. So creatures are dying quite often in this deck. Either, well, I can't copy this with this, but mostly through sacrificing them with Vivien. So I can sacrifice my Atsushi, got 2 more cards to play, or 3 treasures, and then pull in my Warchief. So it's quite a nice combo. I'm running 1 Sareth, the Viper's Fang. So this is a card that gives all my other creatures hexproof, but also can give them Death Touch when they're attacking, which can be very nice with big trampling creatures, for example, or menace creatures. So it has its places where it's interesting or fun to pull. It's probably not the ideal card for the deck, but as it's legendary, but it's just fun. And then we're running 1 Halara and Alina. Can be nice to pull one of these, and if we're in a sort of board stall state and we want to start making our creatures a little bit bigger to finish off the game, or it's just actually nice to curve into, you know, being able to curve into this off of this or this on turn 2. So playing this on turn 3 is very nice. And yeah, I'm running one Tovolar's Huntmaster as I need a 6 costing creature, and this one, as I said, pairs well with Gala Greeters, and it's just something that the opponent has to deal with, really. And in board stall situations, you can let it flip to Knight, and then this is an absolute powerhouse. The rest, Thundering Rebuke is, we need some removal in this deck to deal with the flyers of the world, basically. So this is helping. This is the idea of this card, is it deals with Rafine, it deals with Angels, unless they get too out of hand. For Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, you can't basically play a red deck without it. It pairs very nice in here anyway. And then I'm running 2 Spikefield Hazards to top my lands up to 26, which we need at least 26 in this deck, really, because we're playing expensive stuff. But also, it's actually a nice card, again, in this meta. There's so many Luminarch Aspirants around. This is the Seeker for that. It's nice against Tenacious Underdog. We can cast it on the Underdog, even if it's dying anyway, just to make sure it stays gone. And obviously nice against other small black creatures, Shambling Gaia, Side Twitches, etc. So, that's the deck. I am going to run it into some games, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, here we go. Let's cue game 1. Lord of Atlantis 33. Nice. Yes, I mean, this is a little bit top heavy, but Fable will do. Why have I played that? Oh yes, I can play that. I thought I'd had a brain malfunction, and I realised I was doing the right thing. Sareth the Viper's Fang. This is one of those cards that when you play it, people are like, what? What does that do? Play a... that's it, Aspirant. That's what I want. That is just beautiful. It feels good having Spikefield Hazards in the deck when that happens. I think we play this on green. I don't think it matters too much. Hopefully we'll be able to get one attack off with the Goblin Shaman. Alright. That takes something out of game. What they're probably going to take is something that I want to discard next turn anyway. Which is interesting. Let's discard this. We can get to 6 next turn for Vivian, and then I can sack the Sareth, which isn't that useful right now. It's one of those things that's nice that, like, the point of this deck is really I can search it up, search my 1 copy. It's a utility creature. More aspirants, eh? I guess Vivian. Why would they think I would play the overcosted card when I can play this one? I can always rebuke after. Do I sack the Sareth now? Or do I just mill 5? Or do I create a Rhino? I think we sack the Sareth because we want to get the War Chief for this combo. Force them to remove one of these. Strong coffee is good coffee. Alright, I guess I can block. I can get the Atsushi down and get another War Chief. Only if I have the land to do so though, which I don't. Let's just mill. We do have almost all creatures. I managed to hit 0. I don't think I actually want to rebuke this, do I? Because this could be a Wandering Emperor, but wouldn't be the worst target to lose that on. Didn't play anything into the Interceptor, probably frustrating for them. Would have done if I had the Atsushi. Probably going to go for Vivian, but I don't know. Yeah. Interesting attack. It's quite nice. Okay, that shows, I mean, they didn't draw a Rafine, which makes that Esper deck a lot worse, but game 1, win 1. Alright, let's queue in game 2, see how we get on. I'm not going to try and say this person's name. Yeah, it's a pretty decent hand. I think I might have to play the Spike Field out though, only having 2 lands on the play. Although I won't be able to play the Innkeeper on turn 2, so maybe I won't. Looks like I could be against Esper anyway, which would make this could be nice. No, it's Angels, which makes it useless. It's right, I need it as a land now anyway. Since I can't really do anything else this turn, I will shoot that. Normally I'd save it for the one that gains life. Can't remember its name, but I don't want to completely waste the turn, so can't attack with the Innkeeper obviously. Feels a bit like a Wandering Emperor, doesn't it? They're definitely sticking, and they've got 4 mana, but they stuck when I cast, didn't it? Didn't stick that. Oh, it is sticking. Really gaming the arena client here, I suppose, but the thing is, if it's a Deluge, I'll feel so annoyed, but then I think I'm running Memory Deluge and Angels. It's white-blue Angels by the looks of it. The other hand is, if I don't attack now, they're going to get to either exile something better later, or just put in a 2/2 and then plus it. Is what it is. Um, sort of running dry a little bit here, but problem is I mean, the opponent's down to 1 card, so it's not the end of the world, but we don't have tons of removal, which I kind of need against Linvala, but let's see. Maybe we can remove them by just attacking with big enough creatures. What we don't want is the like a Starnheim Unleashed or anything like that now, otherwise we're in serious trouble. Alright. So we can play Vivian and sack the War Chief. But then actually I've got my 1 6-drop in my hand, so that isn't that helpful. I can play my 6-drop. I'll attack with the War Chief first and go from there. Okay, that's why they're sacking their Wandering Emperor. I got 1 more. At least it's not the end of the world. We're going to get all the modes of Galagritas anyway with this. There we go. That's also one we don't want to see, isn't it? Oh shit. Straight up to, yeah. It's basically game, I think. GG. As soon as they get to that 27 life with that deck, we're in some serious trouble. Just didn't quite have enough momentum in that game, which is probably indicative of a slight deck flaw, but I'll have a think about how we can fix that for next time. Alright, next game. Jean Pesh. This isn't a great hand. I think we might have to ditch that. What's better? Can bottom this Vivian. I don't really want to have my Titans in my hand, but got to slow the Boros deck down. See it on the ladder quite a lot at the moment, and yeah, if you don't slow it down, you're dead in a couple of turns. Yeah, we can ditch that. Gonna need the War Chief, I think, for life gain. See if they've got another Brutal Cathar. Otherwise, the first strike here could be nice. They bloody well have as well. Probably got a third one as well, but let's see. Life gains very nicely into this. I would have loved to get this down, but on the draw, no time for that. you know what? I would say can't take 8, so I think we have to block with everything here. Could do this and this instead, but this Stomper can't block. I mean, it depends what their top deck, obviously. Or we can block the biggest thing. 5, 6, 7. This will put us on to 9, and we'll have 2 blockers. Give it a go. I think I just want to try and develop a little bit. Otherwise, if I'm always behind, let's try to take a Raiju or something now, and then we're dead. Okay, that's not the worst that turn could have gone. See if they play a spell. No. Okay. Turned on the Stomper with that land at least. I can blitz this, but I think we don't want to. Need it as a blocker, or a potential blocker. 4 more life back. At least it's unlikely anyone's going to double spell anytime soon. We can attack with this, can't we? A block would only be good for us. Probably just holding land if they're playing one out. We've slowed down the pain for now. Can play this out. Can turn our treasure into something. It could be a bit risky doing it, so I've only got 4 mana, but yeah, on the whole it's worth it. Yeah, 1 more land. Managed to sort of stall the board at the moment, but it'll only take a Raiju or something to get through. I mean, we can block this brute with like everything, right? If they've got a way of buffing it or killing something, it's bad. They don't want to take that risk. That's not that useful. Can kill the aspirant. The other things are out of range now. But we can stop their stuff growing at least. Start swinging with a big layer of the Hydra soon. I mean, this turn it'll only be a 4/4, so I think so not big enough. I guess they're waiting to try and double spell now, maybe? What we really don't want is Angel Fire Ignition. I guess we can block like this, don't mind which they kill. Trying to avoid being combat tricked, but don't know what they could have. Want to kill off the War Chief, okay. If there was no trick, that feels like a strange attack, because there is. Oh no. They are double spelling though, so they can exile the Rhino, I see. At least it makes their Cathar smaller, so if we draw a rebuke, we can kill it. Nope, sadly not. So let's make this 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be a 6. Is that right? Or a 7? 7. Yeah, definitely worthwhile than blocking. Cathar's back to being bigger and having ward again. They can attack now if they want to, but we'll double block the initiate because it'll only have 6 toughness, which is enough for the Stomper and the Facebreaker. So we put this in first, then we'll get 2 treasures for attacking. Can then sack these and try and find something. Okay. I mean, I guess the momentum is starting to go our way, but that's the sign of an aggro player getting bored with watching us turn it around. Alright, it was a close one. Showed the actual power of the Facebreaker there, though, giving us some kind of recursion later on. GG. Okay, next one. See if we can have as much of a fun one as last time. It's not really a keepable hand on the draw, I don't think. There's none of our 2-drops or anything interesting. That's better. I can ditch one of these lands as well. Might as well play this out first. Let's see if we're playing against Esper and these rebukes come in handy. Looks like it. That is probably rebuke worthy itself. Don't want to take 3 damage a turn. I think I'll play the Fable out. Give me an opportunity to discard the Titan. Be nice if we had a way of getting this back, but in red-green obviously there's no option for that. To make it a Jund deck. I do quite like it when they force themselves into having to discard a non-land. It's the one thing with Connive, it's a little bit, can be a little bit risky. Get rid of that. I mean, yeah, probably just that. Managed to get the land, that's nice. So I could play the Greasers, no. If I want to rebuke Graphene, which I do, I can only do that. That Ward 1 is what makes him, isn't it? It's painful. Cheapest you, I mean, apart from Ray of Enfeeblement, cheapest you can remove it for is 2. So 3, 50% cost on basically all removal on him. Pretty nasty. Decent card. Suspicious Stowaway. Don't see many of those around. That's pretty nice. I think we just get this in. If they don't kill off the reflection or that, we've got our very nice little combo going down. I think I'll gain the life. Don't need the treasure so much right now. About to get another treasure anyway. So we'll have to take 5, but it's well worth it to keep those 2 alive. obviously this Esper deck is crammed to the rafters with removal, so I'm fully expecting removal. Interesting that they're not willing to use up the underdog. I think I will do this now. I think we get the token even if they remove it. That's what the colon is, and right? I think. Okay, not apparently not if that happens. I don't see that card being played much in the Esper deck. So I can kill off the werewolf, stop them drawing. This would be nice to use on the underdog, but can't let them draw for free. Fine. Still got to deal with all these creatures at some point. Unless they've just got a whole deck full of March of Swirling Mist. Since when did Gruul become a deck you have to think about? Obviously I can, I was going to say, if I don't draw a land I can Reflection the Stomper to pull one in. But I have one anyway, so let's try this again. Feels like it might be happening again. Yep. I guess if they're just holding all their mana open, I should wait with copying it. I can't attack with it then, but because I can then do it in response. So we're actually presenting lethal. I assume there is some kind of the Wandering Emperor coming. Exile my War Chief. So if that is the case, we're still getting in for 8. Could be 9 if we wanted. What's he gonna phase out? The Stomper, okay. In that case I can hold off, well, unless it blocks the War Chief, which I guess is a very real thing that could happen. Otherwise, why is he not phased out the War Chief? More damage, and has trample. Guess he's wondering whether to try and save for lethal, but it obviously won't be lethal, as I have the option to gain at least 5 life. So maybe I do this now? Wait. Whilst they can't do anything about it. Just in case there's any shenanigans they can do to this copy, I guess they can bounce it or... Don't know. Got a lot of life to get through now, though. I just love this combination so much. Okay, can't do a lot about that. GG. It's going pretty well against Esper. It's a nice matchup. Yeah, we'll try again. Okay, next game. It's not the conventional line through this deck, but it's got some merit. I mean, I just don't have a second green. But I have got some very early interaction that might, you know, I quite like having this when I'm playing on the draw. There's my second green. It's kind of removed my need to play the hazard as a land, so, but I don't know if, I can't see any one toughness creatures I can think of in black-green. Maybe the Tangle Florahedron, no. Alright, got myself a 2-drop. So we're playing against the Endless Value Golgari deck. Be interesting to see if we can deal with it quick enough. So the Facebreaker isn't that useful here. So I think we just stomp her and head towards the things that are useful. Because we can get a treasure out of this, put another land, stomp her. So I can play the Huntmaster next turn. Opponent can potentially invoke some despair on me this turn. Nope, haven't got the black sources. Okay, that's good. Underdog. Just a good time buyer, I suppose. Don't do anything to my poor greeters. I was looking forward to them getting a triple proc off this Huntmaster. Yeah, I think we just Huntmaster and give them something to deal with. Would really like this to flip, but then it would have to live. That's not too surprising to me. Okay, so I might use the hazard here when we attack. So I'll put the breaker in. We'll use this just to make sure that stays gone. Innkeeper for another treasure. Then we can get some value next turn unless we get swept. Could be Blood on the Snow or Meat Hook. He's got a land and a hook for 4, that's pretty nasty. Okay, not paying the cleave cost. Oh, red land in this deck. Not exactly as I imagined the deck to go. So he could still hook for 3, but that probably won't do that. Okay, he just wants to get rid of the lair. That's fair enough. Obviously we've got loads of basics, so... So not putting Shigeki down. Hey, I was going to dig for one of those with my treasures, but since I've got one anyway. Is there any way of me getting a land down? I can actually Vivian and plus the Innkeeper pull a land, and then pull a Stomper, which will pull... oh, have I only got one of these actually? I might only have one in the deck, so I could only pull another Facebreaker. I can sacrifice a treasure for a land, I suppose. Well, there's another Vivian. Quite like to see if I can get a land as well. No. Okay. I'm pretty sure I only have one Stomper in the deck. Yeah, I have. So I could put another Breaker. That's not helpful. I can turn this Breaker into a Halana and Alina or an Atsushi. But I don't want to do that pre-combat. Alright, we'll just attack. Get 5 damage maybe. Gonna turn this into the Atsushi. Which we can then sack because it likes to die to give us, yeah, either treasure or cards. Saw that one coming. So I think we take the cards because we haven't got a Facebreaker. Pretty nice combo to be delivered there. Still not getting the land though. Must have gone through so many cards there. Ah, got it there. So I can afford both of these, can't I? Yeah. I think I will just do the mill, try and get some more creatures. We've got 4. That's value. I'm still worried about my opponent's deck because they do have, you know, they can bring back any cards. They can bring back Sweepers and Destroys as much as they want. They can bring back the Invoke Despair if they want, and then force me to ditch my Vivian and Fable. Right. Interesting. Hooking for 3. Don't want to give me the chance to sacrifice those with Vivian. So I think I'll ditch both Greeters. As we're better off with lands at this point. So I can... Oh, there's no... We've already had our Huntmaster, haven't we? Yeah. There's only Searcher's Library. Yeah. I need to put a second Huntmaster in this deck. Because being able to blitz these and then sacrifice them is so sweet. If I play that, I've only got 2 land left. So let's attack. And then I think I might just minus the Vivian. I want to sort of present at least some kind of threat at all times, and the plus isn't that helpful at the moment. I don't want it filling up my hand even more. I'll have to discard. Binding. for Vivian, perhaps. Obviously they can Shigeki and bring back loads of stuff. Yeah. I mean, we'd have to offer the trade back next turn anyway, so... They're going to be Shigekiing back some board clear, so maybe the best thing to do is just hit them with a big lair. We'll be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be a 7. Is that right? Yeah. Obviously they can have a bunch of Destroy in their hand, but we can see all but one card. So this costs 2 and XX, so they can only bring back one card this turn. So I guess that will be a Blood on the Snow. Cleansing Wildfire. Oh, they want to get rid of the lair, as that is basically the thing that beats them. At least we're getting all the basics out of our deck. I don't want to be drawing them really, so I assume they must have a board wipe or something in hand, but if they do, it's going to cost them most of their mana. We're going to end up with a 4/4 Rhino and the Den of the Bugbear in play. And I can blitz this in, which they can see. It's down to 4 land, yeah. Not looking good for the opponent now. 5 land. 2 cards. Okay. I think that's probably game then, because we end up with our Rhino. We're going to gain 2 life. So if we blitz this in, that's 9 damage, isn't it? Yep. GG. Nice to come through the back of the Golgari value as well. Haven't actually tested this deck in that matchup, so it's nice to see that there's enough sort of recursive value in this deck with Vivian. You know, the Rhinos coming back from the War Chiefs and the Fable. Nice to see. GG, try again. Alright. Keen to try this in some best of 3 games, although the problem with Gruul is you do get beaten down quite heavily by either high toughness creatures that I can't rebuke or flyers. It's not ideal, but we can play a Fable on turn 3, which pretty much is a winning play. What? Whoa. We don't need to play that as red now, so we can hold on to it for their aspirant. It's not. It's bloody runes. We don't fare particularly well against runes either, to be honest. At least they've had a slow-ish start, I think. So if they can't pump the Naturalist, at least we can get in with the... yeah, that's quite nice. I think we just ditch the Den and a Forest. Still got plenty of land. So I think we just go with this and then play the War Chief. Although I could Halana and... well, I can't anymore. Should have Halana and Alina and held Spikefield for the Visitor, I suppose. It's not the biggest misplay in the world, but I think it is a misplay. There's the champion, so now all the runes come tumbling out of their hand. At some point they'll probably put at least one counter on the Visitor. Yeah. Maybe that is the misplay that costs me the game. It's the only thing that they've got that's pumping their creatures is that visitor. We seem to have run out of runes quite quickly though. Do I just play this probably? So they could, if I pump the War Chief, it doesn't require a double block, so they probably wouldn't block, but then I lose my blocker as well. However, I feel like getting some damage in is worthwhile. Since they could end up with an absolute truck of life game here. Oh dear. Let's see how many runes they get in this. One. So it's one shot for them to top deck runes now. I hate playing against this deck. At least it tends to not play loads of removal, so if I survive and they don't remove Kiki Jiki, we can just throw War Chiefs at them till the end of time, and eventually, well actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I haven't quite got enough to throw Titans at them yet. I'll take another turn, which is a shame. I'd love to kill that fucking Scowls. Sorry, we can't have double counters on everything. Yeah. Okay, I've got a Rebuke, which is quite nice. I guess I get rid of the champion. Then play Fable, and then don't attack. Well, we can attack, but with this or this. And then I can, if I can survive a turn, I can start printing Titans, which, I mean, I don't know, this deck goes off in horrendous ways, so it might not survive, but I can copy the War Chief as a blocker, and I've got a 7/5 copy of him that I don't mind blocking with. 2 runes here, but they haven't got the there's champion, so they have to pay for them. Although unfortunately they do have both the perfect colours to pay for both those runes. So it's only got 14 toughness, yeah. No, we don't. Don't want to get rid of either of those. I need to attack for the treasure, which will let me copy the Titan. I have to give them a ton of life to do it, but it's not an unbeatable amount. mean, we've got a lot of blocking power now. Problem is, I have no way of ever removing this visitor in red-green. There's just no way. So it requires our opponent to attack us. So how much have we actually got? 14 plus 12, 26. Yeah. I guess we just wait for them to deck themselves. I mean, I can kill the Rune of Sustenance as well to stop them gaining life. He's got multiples of all the rest, so... Bloody runes. Got 2 Kiki Jikis now though, so we can copy the Titan twice from next turn. And then we'll really start killing off their their enchantments. It's going to be like a 40 or something. 47, 44. So hold on. 12 plus 14, 24 plus 5. I'm going to need every bit of toughness I can get. I don't even know if it's enough. That's not great. Because I've lost my way to kill the enchantments. And these are all going to go mental on me. So is there anything I can do here to win? So I can attack for 6. Can't copy the Atsushi. So I can put... I've got 6 here, so I can blitz this for haste and copy it once. Gives me 5, 6. I mean, they can block that. These are both going to trigger on this again, so I'm never surviving next turn, so I have to try this. Obviously it's just not quite enough. Because yeah, that thing can be like a 40 odd again. And we haven't got the defence to deal with it this time. GG. I think, I don't know, it was like 1 off. If I'd have blocked with the Fey, it would have been 1 off dying that thing, which the opponent, I doubt, calculated. Not in the time they had, but yeah, I feel like it is winnable, this matchup, especially with sideboarding. But I mean, without it even, it is winnable. I just that misplay I did at the start, where I didn't Spitefield this visitor, was probably what lost me the game. But GG, it was fun anyway. Okay, here's a very quick look at the stats of this deck. So I have played a bunch more than this, but then I've renamed it and tweaked it, and I don't think Untapped GG can keep up with me doing those things. So I think it's only recorded the last 8, which is mostly the ones in this video. I think we played 6 of them on whilst recording. It's got a pretty good win rate at the moment. Obviously, it's not a very big sample size. It's not really a lot to go on. The interesting thing is we're doing well on the draw. That's always nice to see. But more nice to see is we're doing very well against Esper. So 3-0 against Esper is very good to see. This was, I think, a control game. All creature-heavy decks can struggle in against control-based decks. But also, I mean, I've only done one in it's showing in this stats, but I played a couple more against the various Boros Aggro decks, and it at least always competes against them. Because of the Garligreeter's ability to gain life, and also the Workshop Warchief, if you ever get it down, that gaining life is also super nice. So, yeah, it's performing quite well. I think I'm going to do a little bit more best of 1 just to get to Diamond, as it is the deck that seems to be doing it for me, and then I might try some best of 3 after that. So, thanks for watching. If you do like the deck or any suggestions on how I can improve it, leave me a comment. But otherwise, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.